We start the preparation of the porchetini. In my travels in Italy, I come across the dish of porchetta. It's a bit of loin with some belly, or sometimes it's a whole deboned pig. The porchetini we do here is like a baby porchetta for one. So this is like one of the more technical kind of dishes that we do here. This is it's a pork tenderloin, and we're essentially creating a kind of wrap going over this. So using the plastic wrap to help guide it, we then seal the entire tenderloin this way, and we can pull that closed like that. And there we have the actual small porchetini itself. This is going to get then cryovac, and we will poach this, and then upon the fire we take it out of the plastic and we sear it. And what that does is it fully cooks the sausage, leaves the pork tenderloin about medium to medium well. Then we brush it with reduced pork jus and we roll it in pork cracklings. That kind of got that same seasoning. It's this little fine dining fun way of serving a, pretty simple dish. It's 9 a.m. Just came from the green market. The flowers for the day, and most importantly, market greens. These are going to go for the market salad. Well, it's 9:30 in the Francie kitchen. We're starting the pasta program, so we're going to get started on that. These are stinging nettles, kind of in late spring. We've been making a tortelli out of these with burrata and red wine. As a chef, you kind of feel like when things are available, you should use them for your guests. When things are seasonal. I don't like to shock people or anything like that. I kind of like to use things that they might not have seen, but they can relate to. This is the current vegetarian option on the menu, so we do go through a lot of this. Yeah, it's a popular one for sure. Yeah, see, right there, I just got stung. Not that every European brasserie has to have a large pasta menu. Pasta is just very dear to me. I generally keep at least 6 pastas on the menu. Sometimes we do even more with specials. So now we're actually gonna roast down the nettles. I tell every one of these guys, it's like, no matter what you're doing, how minute it is, you kind of put a lot of care into it. Here we're just gonna let this cool off. I like to take it to like room temperature, and the butter that's in here is gonna solidify, so when we grind it, it's gonna kind of come out like a homogeneous mixture. We grind the vegetable. It kind of has like a meat-like texture as we push it through. If you do this correctly, it comes out like that, because now the butter is solidified and it's grinding with the nettle to keep it one homogeneous mixture. Now you can see all those nettles that we made didn't really amount to much. The burrata we just dry. For this I like to just hand mix it, kind of old world style. If you mix this in a mixer, it just doesn't have that same effect, I feel. So this is like 4 bottles of red wine reduced down to a syrup, and this is what cuts through a lot of this. Angel, my pasta maker, this one never made a noodle before he came here, and now he's a rock star. Now he does it better than me. He's starting to make the base or the inner layer of this tortelli, but this is where it takes it to like the next level of pasta making. The tortelli is composed of 3 different doughs: a nettle dough, a red wine dough, and we have a charcoal infused dough. Those flavors are within the actual filling, and it's wrapping the actual filling. So it kind of layers up on the whole thing. No pun intended. You can see the end result. It's pretty striking. It's a beautiful thing. It's simplistic in nature. It's got technique behind it, but I don't think it's got too much. Just kind of representing what's in there. And if you don't care, it just tastes good. I've been cooking pasta a long time. Even when I was a little kid. I got into cooking from my parents. The first things my mother taught me was like, get the dried pasta, put it in the water, here's some butter, here's some cheese. I cooked that a lot, and as I got deeper into cooking and I worked in different restaurants, I got geeky about it for a very long time. And when I was in Italy, I studied it. It's just an art form of cooking that I enjoy. So this is our executive sous chef, Marcos Lopez. He's going to be making the lobster filling for the lobster ravioli. This is the last of our filled pastas that we're building here today. This lobster is raw. We just steam it for 2 minutes to pull it out of the shell.
Season with a little bit of salt, pepper. So in between the process, I'm just gonna give it a little swirls to make sure that all this body is broken down.
I thought it'd be, in the sense of being a comfortable brasserie, to make a lobster ravioli, which a lot of restaurants have on the menu. But I wanted it to be like the most perfect one we could. We developed this lobster mousseline that has chunks of the raw lobster folded into it, so it has that texture, but it's cooked all the way.
Right now I'm adding just chopped up tarragon, just for flavor. And if I keep going any further in this, then I will break this mousse. I will be adding just chopped up lobsters, which is gonna add another texture component to the filling.
So every time we make this filling, we always run a tester in some boiling water and some plastic wrap just to make sure that that's gonna cook. And then this is ready to get bagged up. Pass over to Angel. At this stage, we did have to figure out like the perfect amount to put in there so it didn't bleed out the sides, but it's like you can't have too much and you can't have too little. A lot of the things I wanted to be very over the top going to the past. I wanted it to be like on display, like the duck. A diner can see it and be like, what is that? I want it. Just in its raw form, it's beautiful. And the other part of this dish is it has such a rich flavor. The sauce that we sauce it with, it's the only pasta dish that involves cream. It really adds a lightness to the dish, and really it's very elegant and silky. Because I wanted it to almost be like just perfect, cartoonish. So I started doing the market salad at a restaurant I had in Midtown for a short amount of time called Tenpenny. I wanted to have some elements of like the continental American restaurant, which would be you would order your entree and get the house salad. So that's like why that came together and why I wanted to take that idea and make it more elegant.
For blanching process, you always want to have like your water bags set up right away. I'm gonna start with Romanesco, fava beans, English peas. So with the English peas and the fava beans, I blanch it like a longer time period, like 5 minutes. This is the most speedier salad I ever made, but that have a lot of components to it.
You do a great job at it.
I like challenges. Going into it with my snow peas. The snow peas also a quick blanch, just to like bring up the color as well.
Being in charge of a dish like that, you have to be very organized. You know, she's here caring and checking every single one of these vegetables every day.
When they're like really cooked, you could like squeeze from the pods easily. Still need more time. Going in with my tom carrots. The tom carrots take a longer time to cook. So that's it for the blanching process. Now we have to like move on to the roasting section.
It's definitely a very labor intensive dish. I want to cram in as many different vegetables in there and like give the diner that experience of the excitement we get off of that.
So for the roasting process, this is my setup. And with the carrots, being that you have a lot of sugar to it, I put a lot of fat in the rondo so it doesn't like burn fast. I will start with my Romanesco, and I will not put too much fat because I want a nice sear on it. So I'm gonna season with salt and chili flakes. So the carrots has reached the right cooking point that we want. Same as the Romanesco, have the right roasting. We'll start the next process. So I'm going with my snow peas. So now the snow peas is nicely roasted, and that's the process for the market roasting.
So these are the dehydrated components of the market salad.
We have more steps to the market, so we season with just salt. But basically, I'm like brushing the oil on it for seasoning, so the oil will help like the salt stick to the onions, and for crispiness. Now we're gonna transfer them into the dehydrator. So now we're pulling out the carrots.
Here we have, these are the carrots done yesterday. You can see they're concentrated in flavor, and they look pretty too, and this is going to garnish the salad. The market salad itself can have upwards of 25 ingredients. That dish has 3 cooks working on it in different shifts, and all the different vegetables are cooked different ways, whatever we see fit, and then there's the components that kind of stay the same. We had texture through the black olive and sunchoke kind of soil that we put on the plate. We always have a pickled element on there. We always top it with greens to kind of make it look like a garden when it comes out. So it's like taking that and just elevating it. It's 4 p.m., so we're going to start going through these ducks for tomorrow. These are fresh ducks. I'm also extremely lucky to have Alcides. Say hello, Alcides. Whom I've worked with for 18 years. One of the most talented butchers in the entire city. He butchers these ducks day in and day out to a T. These ducks will be sold 1 month from now. He's trimming the crown to make this a presentable item. What happens next is the crown goes into an ice water bath. It soaks there while we're butchering out all of the ducks. All of this will be used for stock and sauce. These will be broken down and boned out. The bones will actually go to that same thing. We will utilize this leg meat for other preparations. After they're done soaking, we dry them on sheet pans first, and then we put them into our rotation over here, and then we start rotating them into the dates. These are the freshest. They stand up there for like a day just to get all the excess water out, because if not, then it would be raining duck blood all over this. But yeah, then we start moving them from fridge to fridge, from space to space, and turning the bird so that proper air circulation goes around them. We're going to start bringing these upstairs to get loaded up into the roast station's fridge. They will start pricking these, getting them ready for the honey to get roasted. You know, as a restaurant kind of does revolve around the duck, we get in 30 ducks a day. We're just doing the finishing touches. We're just making sure that the product's great. Then we're going to clean all this down, be fully presentable, and start the show. We have all of our ducks in a row. These are going to be here up until the beginning of service. Then we are going to prick them with our tool here, rub them in honey, and roast them in this oven. Here we have lined up our 2 duck presenters for the evening. We have Salacia and wax flowers today. Some baby eucalyptus is always in the mix. And this is how we present the ducks. We make these daily. I never thought the duck was going to be the thing here. I wanted to put that on the menu because I've been cooking that specific duck for a very long time. I thought I was going to sell like 9 or 10 a week. Like the first friends and family we had, it was like duck, 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 duck. I think that's what part of the success of it, because it was all over the internet and it still is to this day, which I thank Instagram for. I'm the worst in social media. I'll admit it. I just wanted to represent the bird. You know, it's a beautiful sight to see the bird come out. Essentially, the duck you order is a duck you get shown, and there's no smoke and mirrors behind the whole thing. You order the duck, we put the duck in the oven, duck waits, the duck comes to you. And we present the duck, bring it back, carve it off the carcass of it. We slice it on a slight bias. We have the pork jus made from the bones, goes on the bottom of the pan, and the duck is fanned out. Some Maldon salt, and that's it. And then we serve it with the accompaniments. I just wanted to represent the bird, and give its life at a restaurant and give it proper justice to what it is, and show the work that goes into it. It's a beautiful sight to see the bird come out, and then when we slice and present it in the serviceware that we had made, and it's just a nice thing. From the diner's perspective, if you aren't into food and all that, it's just good, great food. If you are into food, you can understand the technique that goes behind it. We don't do too much avant-garde stuff. It starts at 7 a.m. every day to get this food done. And then once service starts, it's a very orchestrated, serious service to get it out to the diner.
So right now I'm setting up my station. These are all my squeeze bottles. I got red wine vinegar, red wine reduction. This is my finishing oil, olive oil, YUNDA, bacon fat over here. So right now it's 5 o'clock. I waited all my pastas. This is where I keep all my rigatonis and my conchiglies. They're semolina extruded pastas. I keep my raviolis. It's 3 raviolis for each order. I grab my pappardelle and my tortelli out of the region, and I set it up over here. Whenever something gets fired, I grab one of these trays. I put all my pastas on it, and then I drop it in the water, start my sauce is finished.
Your typical Michelin level kitchen, there's a lot of follow-up. You can see in the kitchen that everybody in there's got a lot of passion. Passion is probably more the word behind that level of cooking. Like once you start hearing the roar, it's on. Fire bread, souffle cake, bomboloni, 3-prawn, then a cucumber, then a conchiglie, ravioli, pappardelle. So this is our conchiglie, little neck clam, bacon, and white sesame. We top it off with our white sesame pan grattato. We're an a la carte restaurant. We're not a tasting menu restaurant, and so it's kind of like choose your own tasting menu. Fire bomboloni, then a conchiglie split, then a duck. Everybody goes to fine dining restaurants once, but I have people coming back, you know, sometimes once a week, you know, or more. That to me is, I feel that that's the success of the restaurant. Full speed on the mortadella souffle cakes, 2 and 2. After what we went through, I'm glad the restaurant's still here. Listen, I'm in the business of making people happy. Fire single rab. That's why I cook. It's why we have an open kitchen, so we can watch everybody be happy and have a good time.